Hi guys, welcome back. It is I, bug catcher Hayley, and my good friend Venus Long in Silky Seaweed from Art of Wigs here to teach you how to style a Tenko wig from DRV3. I have never worked with wire before, and that is my plan for Tenko's wig today. I'm hoping it'll work out. If not, bear with me. We'll figure it out together, and hopefully if you're looking to cosplay her as well, this will do the trick. You can learn from the mistakes that I am sure I'm going to make. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the main way I'm going to achieve the look that Tenko has for her braids is by using wire and felt. Wire is going to help the braids keep their shape, especially since there's holes in certain parts. That's really going to be the only way I can think of to keep them apart and separate. And the felt I'm surrounding the wire with because there's not really a good way to glue anything to wire, especially as thin as I'm using. It's just jewelry wire, and if I tried to glue hair to that, it would just be a mess, especially since this wig is as thick as it is. So the felt's gonna give the hair a little bit more to hold on to. All I'm doing is hot gluing the felt around the wire. Super duper easy. You're going to need 4 total wires covered in felt, 2 and 2 together. Okay, so the next step is going to be to sew the felt pieces to the wig. You're going to want to sew it to the part of the wig cap that is in the very back. There's like a little dip almost where it gets a little longer right at the nape of your neck. You're gonna wanna sew them to each side of that. So towards your ears almost, and like right at the nape of your neck is where they'll go. The next step is going to be to actually get the hair attached to the felt. I'm at first going to try to just use hairspray because I don't want the glue to show through, and I don't want it to affect the hair very much. I don't want it to look like it's been really styled and glued down. I'm actually using rubber bands to section her hair off. She has them almost like in little sections. One has a bow, the others just have little ties, so that's definitely going to help keep the hair in place as well. And of course, don't forget to section off hair. All of her hair isn't pulled back. She has a little bit of wispies in front of her ears, so be sure to account for that. So the next step is to do the different sections. This is the point where her hair splits into like little holes. For this I'm actually going to use real glue to put down. The hairspray didn't work quite as well as I had thought, but the bands are keeping it in place, so that's not a big issue for the top, but for this part there aren't any bands there, they're just going to be separated. So in order to keep the hair at least on the inside, I'm going to need to use a little bit of glue. Okay, so I'm actually just going to talk to the camera for a second, even though I was trying really hard not to do that. I still haven't used any glue, and I think that I'm going to not. What I'm doing is, these little rubber bands are keeping the hair in place. It's really easy even to double wrap them around, just as long as you're careful with the wire. But what I'm doing for the parts that are separated is, so like, there's one right here. Bring the wire up like this, and then that'll give it the shape. And then to keep the hair separated, like, you can hide other bands like near the ones that are supposed to be there. So I just like split it apart and then put bands right at the top of where that section starts. And if you can see, like, it's already on this side, and then once I put them right here, it'll hold it in place and it'll still be good and you won't be able to see them very much because there'll already be something there. That'll be nice too, because if I have an issue with the wig, taking the bands out is a lot easier than ungluing something. You can't just unglue something. So if there's an issue at the top where I need to like brush it or something, that is still possible. I am a little happier with this than like gluing it down. So that's what I'm doing, in case you're wondering. Okay, so the little loopies are done. Be sure to spray them generously with hairspray. The hairspray and the bands together should keep them in place. Probably have to snip some strays or have issues with it falling in. Just using a lot of hairspray and using your hands and like very light wig glue should do the trick here. I might also go over it with either tacky glue or tacky glue. So the next step is to add wefts to the end. In Tenko's original art, the parts below the loopy are like super duper long. Her hair goes like all the way down to her feet. So I'm going to hot glue the felt pieces together and then glue some wefts to it. And from there, we'll be done. All that's left is to trim the bangs and the little side wispies, and you're all done. As always, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment below. This tutorial was a little bit messy just because I was doing it as I went along, but hopefully it still taught you something and will come in handy. Until next time, bye!